As we look at Holy Week and look at some of these events that have transpired in the last week of Jesus' life, we are reading stories and accounts of things that happened to him, as well as words that he said. Today, we're going to be looking at the book of Matthew, chapter 26, at an event that happened just a few nights before Jesus' sentence and then crucifixion. This is in Matthew 26, verses 6 through 14. I'm going to share that with you. While Jesus was in Bethany in the home of Simon the leper, a woman came to him with an alabaster jar of very expensive perfume, which she poured on his head as he was reclining at the table. When the disciples saw this, they were indignant. "Why this waste?" they asked. "This perfume could have been sold at a high price and the money given to the poor." Aware of this, Jesus said to them, "Why are you bothering this woman? She has done a beautiful thing to me. The poor you will always have with you, but she will not always have me. When she poured the perfume on my body, she did it to prepare me for burial. Truly, I tell you, wherever this gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told in memory of her." Now, this account is shared in all four of the Gospels. And here we read that this woman is nameless, but Luke tells us that this is in fact Mary. Mary was the sister of Lazarus and the sister of Martha. And if you recall, there was a previous instance where Jesus came to the home of Mary and Martha and visited them. And Martha was busy getting things ready for Jesus' time there, while Mary just sat at his feet. Mary just wanted to be with Jesus. And again, we see that this is what she's doing. She is here several nights before Jesus is about to die, and she is there with Jesus, and she is there worshiping Jesus, taking perfume and using it to pour on his head, to anoint him for burial. See, she understood what was about to happen. Jesus had shared that his crucifixion was coming. The disciples knew this, but yet they were indignant with Mary because she was taking this time to once again worship Jesus. Just as Mary had experienced frustration from her sister, Martha, previously for worshiping Jesus, now once again the disciples were also irritated with her because of what she was doing. But Jesus loved what Mary was doing. Jesus told them, he said, "Do not bother this woman, let her do this." In fact, Jesus was so moved by this that he told them, he said, wherever the gospel is preached around the world, what Mary is doing right now will also be shared. So this was a significant event. It was significant to Jesus, and it was a significant teaching moment for the disciples as they were concerned with doing all of these things as they ministered with Jesus. Once again, Mary was just taking time to simply worship Jesus. You know, sometimes we get so caught up in doing things for God and doing things for Jesus that we neglect just being with Jesus. I've been guilty of that. As a minister and doing all these things that I think I need to do for God, neglecting the time that I just need to sit in God's presence and be with him. This Holy Week, we have that opportunity. We can retrace some of these steps of Jesus. We can look at these accounts. We can read these words. And thinking about this time being preparing for Easter, there's lots of things that we think that we need to do to celebrate the holiday. And all those things are wonderful and great. Let's not forget this week and on Easter just to take time to be with Jesus, to worship Jesus, to acknowledge who he is, to remember his sacrifice. Mary knew that Jesus was about to die, and Mary wanted to take that time just to honor Jesus. In John's account of this story, it shares that Mary also used that perfume to wipe his feet and then used her hair to wipe that perfume on his feet. Mary realized the significance of what she was doing. She was preparing Jesus, but also preparing herself for the loss of this man who had become very special to her. she and her whole family. Jesus had brought Lazarus, her brother, back from the dead, and Jesus was very important to them. And so as Mary worshiped Jesus, I want to challenge us this week just to take some time to worship Jesus, to be still before him, and to acknowledge his sacrifice, and to acknowledge who he is, and to acknowledge what he has done in our lives.
One day, a plain village woman, driven by love for her Lord, recklessly poured out a valuable essence, disregarding the scorn. And once it was broken and spilled out, a fragrance filled all the room, like a prisoner released from his shackles, like a spirit set free from the tomb, broken and spilled out, just for love of you, Jesus, my own precious treasure, lavished on thee, broken and spilled out, and poured at your feet in sweet abandon. Let me be spilled out and used up for thee. Lord, you are God's precious treasure, his loved and his own perfect Son, sent here to show me the love of the Father. Just for love it was done. And though you were perfect and holy, you gave up yourself willingly, and you spared no expense for my pardon. You were spilled out and wasted for me, broken and spilled out, just for love of me, Jesus, God's most precious treasure, lavished on me, broken and spilled out, and poured at my feet in sweet abandon. Lord, you were spilled out and used up for me. In sweet abandon, Lord, were spilled out and used up for